Hello and welcome everyone, this is Calebovitsch coming to you with another episode of Brawl News, and today I would like to talk to you about a very anticipated patch for the game, patch 0.65.10, or 1.0 if you want. We have been waiting very long for this patch actually, because the last one has been more than 5 weeks prior to this one. So the upside of that is that the metagame was rather good. In the end, it was copycat fiesta with some spell fiesta, but now that we have some new additions and removals and changes to the game, I'm guessing the metagame will be something slightly different. So let's get on to the news, and welcome. We have 3 new heroes in the patch. The first one is Sharebear. After each brawl, you and your last opponent gain +1 gold. Okay, so here's the thing. This is, well, okay, you have the Curse King, which is like bad and evil and cursed. And you have Sharebear, with a very cool artwork and maybe in the future animation. So this one, after each brawl, you and your last opponent gain +1 gold. No downsides for you per se, just that your opponent will have +1 gold as well. Doesn't work on the first round from what I've heard or read. So you have 2, 4, 5, 6, etc, etc. And having the 4th piece of gold on turn 2, in round 2, is actually very, very important, because it allows you to get from one character to 3 characters, which puts you ahead of the curve, and you can do some crazy shenanigans. You can go for treasures earlier to still keep your parity on the board, etc, etc. Now, the quote-unquote downside of this hero is not as devastating as taking some damage, like old incarnation of the Curse King, 1 damage each round. Ooh, no, thanks. For this one, usually you don't run into the same opponent multiple times in a row, unless it's the end game. So the downside is going to be for other players, because let's say you're fighting someone in round 1. And as usual, it's a draw. So in round 2, you will be able to buy 2 characters, and they will be able to buy 2 characters. So the actual downside is going to be for the person who fights them in round 2. And you don't see who everyone was matched up against, so we won't know who is matched up against the Sharebear in your lobby. Long story short, I believe the additional economy in the whole lobby is going to make the games faster if there is a Sharebear in the audience. And I believe this is a good hero. This is a good economy hero, and I'm very eager to play with him later today when I start playing with the new additions. Okay, next up, the Sphinx. Your shop sells an extra spell. Already makes this a great hero. I've said it about Potion Master time and time again, the current incarnation. Your shops sell an additional spell. If you target with a spell, the character gains +1/+1. You don't even need the +1/+1 part. It's cool, it's gravy, it's some good early to mid game, and if you have spell spam, then it's really good. But the additional spell in the shop is what makes Potion Master good right now and fun to play. So this one already starts with an upside, but also when you level up, your spells are free this round. So you level up to 3-0, and you can search for spells such as Turkish Delight or Wish Upon a Star. The end is later. And you don't need to spend the 4 or the 5. When you reach level 6, you can try to go for something like Evil Twin or Knighthood. Just spam reset the store. You see 2 spells in every store, so you have a higher probability. Still a non-zero, non-100% probability, but still non-zero, to get something really good for free. And this is going to be both good spells and good economy. And third new hero is King Midas. You need just 2 copies to upgrade a character, but you can never find treasures. This one reminds me, in a way, of the Headless Horseman, but probably in the playability department. I want to play with King Midas, but I don't see this as a very high tier unless I can come up with or someone on the internet comes up with a composition that doesn't need treasures. And first thing that came into mind when I started thinking about King Midas, okay, so you have to get characters that grow throughout the game, because you will not find treasures. So you will not find plus 100 sword. You will not find crystal ball for spell spam. You will not find, I mean, I'm not sure if you will find quest characters, but you will not be able to fulfill the quest, or I mean, you upgrade and nothing happens, or you can't find them. I have to find that out for myself later today. But hear me out. You get a very fast double happy little tree. Then you get some more like double unicorn, good health. You get a double Darkwood Creeper, and you start working towards going for Shoulder Fairies, Echo Wood, Happy Little Tree, Ashwood Elm. Sounds really good. And that composition, I believe, can work even without treasures. So trees without round table, but with Shoulder Fairies and Echo Wood. So I think this could be the composition for King Midas. I've also heard Royals, because you can get Turbo Double Arthur. That could work as well. You need some spells to target your Court Wizards, or to target your Good Boy to work on them, but seems rather solid. Seems rather solid, like solid gold maybe. We'll find out later, probably. Okay, hero changes to Sad Dracula. Instead of your first character has Slay +3 attack permanently, it has +2 attack permanently. But it is a buff because you, dear viewer, get the first attack each brawl. So already, Sad Dracula is wearing Hermes boots. And this is huge. Also, when I was thinking about... okay, so two different things. Ability and balance. First, ability, okay? So the problem with Sad Dracula, the previous incarnation, the +3 attack incarnation, was that if you didn't get the first attack and your character in one got slain or just plain old killed, then your ability doesn't do anything. Your stat ability doesn't do anything. Here, you know you have a chance of killing something. And this is going to be huge. So the +2 attack instead of +3 attack, I mean, the attack went through the roof anyway. So this is going to be a really good, really amazing version of Sad Dracula. I mean, you can even get this hero for the Hermes Boots ability, and you can get 3 additional treasures on top of that. So you can go Sad Dracula and still go Copycat in 1, Good Boy in 5. Okay. Now about the balance. So Sad Dracula is wearing Hermes Boots, a level 2 treasure, and has an additional upside of the Slay. On the other hand, there are 2 heroes, Sharebear, that you have seen already in this video, and the Cursed King, who are wearing the Spinning Wheel, also a level 2 treasure, but with a downside. Spinning Wheel, you gain +1 gold each round. So for Sharebear, it is your opponent also gets that. For Cursed King, you have to buy a spell. So 2 heroes have a level 2 treasure with a downside, and 1 hero has a level 2 treasure, a good one at that, with an upside. Think about that. Okay, health changes. Apocalypse down from 50 to 45. This is a good change. This is going to be, I mean, Apocalypse at 50 really could hold his own until level 6, especially if he got at least 2 experience point spells. If he got 3, then it was fine. If he had a good composition, mid-game composition like Dwarfs, spoiler alert, no longer, then it was fine. Now, going down to 45 means it is going to be probably a bit more difficult because that 5 health actually matters. Yesterday on stream I read some conversations that some of the heroes that got their health increased a month ago from 40 to 45 are actually quite good now, like Zelwa. So 50 was even beyond that, going down to 45, and actually having 45 health on heroes that have their abilities for the mid to late game or the late game is actually a very interesting choice and a very good choice in my opinion. I remember in the early days of this game, someone like, I don't know, well, one of those abilities that didn't do anything in the beginning and just 40 health, it was like, ooh, and then it was like, okay. Anyway, skip the time skipper. Will now show all level 3 characters on turn 2. This is to make up for the inability to lock level 3s on turn 1. I like this change. I still think skip was nerfed and that was good, but yeah, I do like this change. This is a change for the better. Now Morgan Le Fay and Beauty get their health increase from 40 to 45. For Morgan Le Fay, this means that she is going to get that treasure later, which is also probably means that she is going to get a higher level of a treasure, which is fine. She's not great in OP, so that is fine. Now for Beauty, I believe, and I also said this a couple of times, I see Beauty as the old Evola in a way that you just beeline towards Queen of Hearts and Ancient Sarcophagus, and you're almost unbeatable in the mid-game. Her health got increased to 45, and I don't think this is as necessary as the 2 above changes for Apocalypse and Morgan Le Fay, and Skip, kind of. I mean, sure, Beauty is fine and fun to play. I don't believe she needed the health buff, but who knows? Dwarves got reforged. They gave Dwarves and Kind of Slay an overhaul in this patch, so let's see. Tweedledee, instead of a level 3 character, is a level 4 character, and is a 6/1, and summons Tweedledum with attack and health swapped, which is actually great, because if you work on Tweedledee's stats, then Tweedledum isn't just a rando, it is really good. I just wonder how it's going to work with passive stat buffs. So, for example, Tweedledee in front and Fanny in the back row. So is it going to be Tweedledee is an 8/3, he dies, Tweedledum is a 3/8 and is getting buffed again from by Fanny to a 5/10, or not? I will have to find that out. But if that works, that means Tweedledee is going to be the new Bossy, because Bossy's gone. Anyway, Angry is angrier than ever before. The attack buff is not as necessary as the health buff, so he's going to trigger a lot more, and that is actually what Angry needed, even like a 4/15, not even a 5/15, but that's fine. Princess White got a bit nuked. Instead of +1/+1 for each dwarf you have bought this game, your dwarves have +1/+1, and I'm guessing the upgraded version is +2/+2. Same stat line, same level, same quest, same thing. But Princess White was one of the biggest offenders in the mid-game, as they said, both figuratively and literally. But right now, as just a 2/4, without her growing, she's not going to matter that much. She might matter if you have a free slot in a dwarf composition. She might matter if you put her on the bench and she just gives you a treasure. Other than that, she got nuked. And thus Lordy also stopped caring about her for his buff. And it doesn't matter because you're not going to play Princess White with Lordy anymore. And Princess White now, all your dwarves have +1/+1. Bossy had dwarves have +2/+2. Now he got removed from the pool. They did overlap too much with the current incarnation of Nuked White. So Bossy is here no longer. We have one fewer dwarf, which could be a problem for balance issues, but I have no idea. Anyway, dwarves got a bit nuked, long story short. Crafty. No longer will you find a lowly 1/1 Crafty in the early store. which is very good. Also, instead of a 1/1 into a 1/1 with +3/+3 for each treasure, he's a 2/2 for +2/+2 for each treasure you have, which not only means that you don't want to buy him in the early game because he's just a 1/1 and he dies to everything and anything, but also he's not a huge offender in the late game. I mean, 2/2 with +3 with +6/+6 for every treasure means that with a full treasure upgraded crafty was a 20/20. Right now 4/4 and 4/4 and 4/4 and 4/4, that's 16/16, which is not such a huge offender. On the other hand, it's better in the first turns of the game, so I do like the crafty change. I don't like the white and bossy changes. Angry is fine, Tweedledee is fine. I think they changed Tweedledee to a level 4 because Dwarves didn't have a level 3 anymore. A level 4 anymore. Also, State of Slay. This patch also features some changes to the Slay package. The most exciting part is the return of Grimsoul, as it was, made possible by changes to Shadow Assassin and Chupacabra. Also Lancelot. Lancelot got finally upped from a 7/7 to a 9/9, which is fine. And he's been hitting the gym lately. And you can see that on the new artwork, that you can see that he has been hitting the gym lately. Shadow Assassin, instead of 2/1, that gains +1/+1 permanently when one of your characters triggers a slay, is a 2/4 that only gains +1 attack. So Shadow Assassin doesn't get the health buff, which is great and amazing. And now you just have to work on his health in other ways, because a 100 ranged character is just OP. 100 by 8 is more manageable. You can snipe him. You can work your magic on him. I mean, if you go into hand-to-hand combat with a ranger that specializes in a bow instead of 2 one-handed weapons, that's some RPGing background there, then you should be fine. You should be able to slay him. But if you go and try to get a 100 by 100, you're just gonna get slain anyway, and then it shoots back. Yeah, I do like this change. Also, just the 2/4 basic stat line means that he's not gonna get hit by falling stars very early on. Chupacabra. Instead of giving it and the characters behind it +1/+1 permanently for a slay, it gives +2 attack, which is fine. As some people said, it makes Slay more into a glass cannon build, with both of these changes not going for health. It also means that a team is easier to get disrupted, what they said, which is also fine, because Slay really got out of control last time around. Also means that, on the other hand, if you have the shooters in the back row, like Baba Yaga, Sporko, etc., it is going to buff their health, their attack a lot faster, which is good because you want attack more than health on your ranged characters in the back row. This also means that for each slay for the Chupacabra, it's going to be much easier for the Chupacabra to slay again. Also, this means that current Slay incarnations need Bad Moon that much more, because that's the only way for them to gain health. This also might mean that Bad Moon might get a revert to +1/+1 instead of +1/+2 for each Slay. Alright, stat changes. Riverwish Mermaid from a 4/4 to a 4/8. Still doesn't make this an awesome addition, but makes it more playable. I mean, every stat increase makes these characters more playable. I remember when they changed Neon into a 10/10, and right now if you just turbo to a level 5 and you find 2 Neons and you get the level 5 treasure, because that's what you wanted Neons for, you also get some 20/20 stats that sometimes can be bigger than what you already had on the board. Great Pumpkinkin got a buff. I don't see why he needed a buff in the first place, but okay, here we are. Instead of a 5/5, he's a 10/10, which is fine. And also what you can see on the text, but it will summon 1/1 casts for each level 2 character that die. Because remember, GPK summons an evil character 1 level lower than for each level evil character that died. And for level 2, given that there are no level 1 cards, only tokens, it didn't summon anything. Right now, it's going to give 1/1 casts, which is fine. Exploding Mittens removed from the pool. Okay, 50% of cards that I wanted removed from the pool have been removed from the pool. Now, still waiting for that cat skull to get removed. Also, worst level 5 treasure ever. Copycat was very abusive in the and combogenic in the current patch. Sorry, in the recent patch. It went from a 4-4 to a 2-12, so it was harder to snipe it. Now from a 2-12 to a 2-8, which means it's easier to get disrupted. Is it though? I think the bigger disruption is the huge addition for the Slay. So Copycat on the one hand, on the other hand, you're going to see Slay. And that might bring a balance, I don't know. But I do like the change to Monster Book. On level 5, it was a really mediocre character. Now on level 4, with Last Breath cast a random spell, stats have been decreased, obviously, will be between levels. But I do feel this as a huge buff. This is another character I want to find on level 4 right now. Also, matchmaking improvements. Also, point gains will be variable for all ranks above Squire. Also, new animations, and here you can see animations for Mirror and Fog, because they have hired someone as a virtual special effects artist, Cass, and I hope we will see a lot more of the cool things and shenanigans soon. Also, Goldilocks hero over here. Hello. I mean, we can't hover over this, so we can see what's here. You can also see the Nemesis hero right here, and the Satyr over here, and the Sphinx over here, and yeah, that's about it. All right, also new artwork. Black Prism, 10th Book of Merlin, Noble Steed, Ring of Revenge, The Ark. This one is actually very cool. And also John from the engineering chat, the lead engineer at Good Luck Games, explains the changes they made to their networking code, which means it's going to require, it's going to send fewer data between the server and the client, which means this change, along with others, like sending smaller numeric types and for values, should massively reduce the data we are sending across the wire. And this could improve general lag when performing actions like rolling, more stable connections between client and server, and resolving issues with some users not being able to play at all. Great. Also bug fixes. Mainly, Loki and Genie's Wish casting XP spells at level 6, no more. As Peter Pants, if you have Lonely Prince in the shop and you buy a princess, an additional +1/+1 stack is being added to Frog Prince after the transformation. No longer. I didn't encounter it, at least I don't think I did, so that's fine. Also, they fixed that mousing over enemy characters no longer increases your odds of attacking them. I applaud you on your humor. Click and hold without releasing finger of the click causes button to be pressed when mouse is moved away from button and finger is released. That was about clicking on rerolling the shop and not wanting to reroll the shop and moving the mouse away. So right now it should work. Also, if Lonely Prince is added to your shop because your hand is full and you would buy a princess upon transforming into the Frog Prince, its cost will revert back to 2 no longer. Haven't encountered that as well. Also, Black Prism doesn't cast on all characters if the spell was cast from hand. I guess this is for Gwen and Knighthood. And right now it does cast because it was fixed that it doesn't cast. I mean, this is a very narrow situation. Overall, I do like the changes. I do like that they are doing big changes. I do like that they are introducing new material that I want to play with. I do like the nerfs, even with the Apocalypse. The small changes, like for Skip, that you will see level 3 characters. The total reworks that also rework the metagame, like the Dwarves, and the reintroduction of Slay, and Lancelot going to the gym, and the humor about hovering over targets. Anyway, good luck games, good job games. Thank you, and see you in Storybook Brawl.